30% of the firefighters in California are
inmates. 30% of California's firefighters are inmates, paid next to nothing. When I was an inmate, my highest paying job was a cook in the kitchen. I made 80 cents an hour. My lowest paying job, well, I had free ones where I had to do work and wasn't paid. But my lowest paying job was 30 cents an hour in the prison laundry room. This girl has some amazing content, and she does a great job connecting all of these dots together, because they are all connected. And human oppression is a mechanism for all of these interconnected things. And so, when we look at how to create change in prison reform, it also necessarily means change elsewhere. Check this out.
The ultra-wealthy love slavery, and they will do everything in their power to preserve slavery. When you look at every policy that billionaires push for, slavery is always the end goal. The Emancipation Proclamation made it illegal to enslave people, but it didn't make it illegal to imprison people and force them to work for free. So when the enslaved people in the United States gained their freedom, they immediately passed black codes, which are laws designed to make it illegal to be black and homeless. The police was formed to go around and arrest every black person they could find and to put them in prison. If you look up every state penitentiary in the South, you'll find that its location is right next to a historic plantation. Every day, these prisoners would be taken to the plantation they were freed from and forced to work for free. Only instead of the enslaver feeding and housing them, it's us. We're paying to feed and house them. And throughout America's history, any time that the prison population drops below a certain rate, there is some kind of push to fill those prisons. How come the war on crime and the war on drugs always targets black communities? Because I grew up in a small white town, and let me tell you, there's crime and drugs. But they know that they can rely on racism and bias to ensure that they can fill prisons with black bodies. Over the years, they've been able to arrest black men for whatever they want, with no one that looks like me questioning it. There are even times that the US government would actually import drugs, distribute them into the black community, and then go through and crack down on those drugs. And that prison labor is still used today for things like clothes and food and lumber to build our houses. When you buy something and it says Made in USA on it, there's a good chance that that was made using prison labor. But now with the BLM movement and everything being recorded, and more people who look like me starting to question why we have so many black men in our prisons, it's getting harder for them to fill those cells, which means that they are losing their enslaved people. And so now they're building new immigration detention centers. The goal of removing immigrants is not to reduce crime rates, it is slavery. The goal is always slavery. It is slavery funded by our tax dollars.
The reality is some people have to be left behind. Personally, I'm done explaining to people why capitalism does not benefit the common person. If people want to continue to worship celebrities and the 1%, there is nothing that we're going to do at this point to stop them. It is genuinely mind-boggling to me how many people are okay with the status quo when if we all work together, all of our lives could be so much better. I blame a lot of this on mass consumerism and hyper-individualism within American culture, but regardless, I just think some people are blinded by the reality that we live in. I also think that a lot of this obedience comes from the fact that people think that they'll be able to reach the 1% if they do what they're supposed to do. Also, some people are just genuinely unempathetic and couldn't care less whether or not life got better for the common person. But for those who genuinely do care and want to make the world a better place, we have to start putting our money where our mouth is. We can't continue to support corporations and individuals who genuinely go against our best interest.
Hi, this is just a reminder that hustle culture is white supremacy. Prior to colonization, there was no structured idea of time in the sense that we have. Human beings would wake up, find food, eat the food, be in community with their tribes, and then go to sleep and do it again each day. There was no concept of being lazy. You didn't have to be productive to have worth in society. And now, if you can't work, even if you have a chronic health condition, physical, mental, or emotional, you are seen as subhuman. So yes, while it's great to have goals and ambition, you have to be able to let yourself relax. Because if you don't, you are feeding into this system of white supremacy that is trying to literally steal your soul away from you. If you don't rest and recharge, you will not not be able to maintain your goals and escape the system that is trying so hard to keep you down, especially if you are a member of a minority group. Your goal as a human being should be to connect with other people and to enjoy your life, not to contribute to a system financially. Your soul is far more important than your physical labor, so keep that in mind.
It's so sick and twisted how colonization and capitalism have wiped our collective memory. Because what do you mean homelessness wasn't even a thing until the 1600s? What do you mean the origins of homelessness can be traced back to colonial America? And the best that Western leftists can do is just argue that we need affordable housing. No, you shouldn't be paying for shelter. Because we weren't doing that for years. Until this fuck-ass country was created. Like, the solutions aren't even like solutions. They're band-aids on gash wounds. Like, the jugular has been split open and everyone just put some ice on it. It genuinely makes me so mad because it's like, you think we were doing that for thousands of years? The indigenous peoples of this continent, of the Americas, Africa, Australia. Like, do you think that our ancestors were paying some random bozo that has nothing to do with them every single month just to have a roof over their head? That shit is an export. Feudalism, landlords, like, that is a colonial export. We were not doing that since the beginning of time. If you needed a place to live, you would build a house and you would live there until you didn't. And it blows me because it's like, even if you suggest, hey, no one should pay for housing because we all needed to live, people look at you like you are crazy. Like, people will fight you on that. Okay, cool, affordable housing, but that's not gonna stop the upward tick of capitalism because there's no end goal. It's just continuous extraction and exploitation and making money until infinity, until we're all dead. So let's skip all that, get back to how we were living, and maybe take care of the collective. No, people will literally look at you like you're insane. This is why decolonization is the true path towards liberation, because this collective memory wipe prevents so many people from actually genuinely fighting for a completely free world. It convinces the collective that the best we can all fight for is scraps, reform, instead of getting to the root and the heart of all of these issues and destroying and dismantling all of it. Even without all this historical context, if you just simply say no one should be on the street, no one should have the power to put anyone on the street because we all need housing to survive, there will be somebody being like, actually, regardless if they're a landlord or not, because they believe in capitalism, because they have class aspirations, they believe in settler colonization, can do backflips for them, or will eventually one day. And for that, they're fighting for everyone to struggle. Like, you want to struggle. Like, what? Like, for the folks that are like, oh, we just need $300, $400 rent. Again, I understand that sentiment, but even when rent was $400 or $300, people were still homeless. People still were on the street back then. And that alone is why no one should pay for shelter. No one should pay for housing. That's the crazy answer. No one should pay for housing because we all needed to survive. But we can't have that because capitalism requires poverty to function and for people to struggle. So it can hold that over your head and be like, see, you must work unless you want to be like that. Poor people gotta exist for capitalism to keep going. And instead of everyone being like, okay, let's stop that. Let's not pay for housing. Let's not have rent. Let's get rid of landlords because that shit was not even a thing anywhere else besides Europe. You're the crazy bitch. You're the weirdo. Okay.
Hello everyone, it's Anthony. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing about how slavery didn't end in United States. Instead, they replaced it with the word salary and found a way to incorporate everyone, including the whites, the Latinos, the Indians, the Asians, into the system. Now, picture yourself now, a young man or a young woman looking for a job, get your first job offer. Now, you are stuck in a recurrent cycle of living paycheck to paycheck until you are kicked out of the system in the name of retirement, probably with nothing to show for years of your work.
You know, they're crashing the economy on purpose. They're doing this on purpose. But I really want to know what happens when Americans have, well, the working class Americans have nothing to lose, nothing to live for, because all of their money goes to their essentials and to their bills, and they no longer have money to buy anything that's for enjoyment. What would they use to distract them? Also, with them always constantly saying they're going to delete a lot of apps like TikTok and they can control the media, what people use to feel any kind of sense of belonging? So if people feel like they don't have their needs met in some kind of way, what will happen? Because eventually what will happen is that once people realize that their dollar does nothing for them, they'll be upset. what will y'all do then? Like, I still see you guys blaming other disadvantaged groups for the reason why the economy looks the way it does. And someone right now just bought a boat. You've been saving up for a shitty car, and someone just bought a boat. Now, I'm not saying that having money makes you a bad person, but we have to understand that a lot of the elite are purposely tanking the economy so they can buy it back for nothing and control everything. That's who you need to be mad at.
If you are working 40 hours a week as an American and you are, let's say, a manager of a store, you are not making enough money to live here by yourself. You are going to be accumulating debt. And if you end up getting sick and have to go to the emergency room, it is very likely that you are going to fall into a lot of debt. And you will have to work the rest of your life to pay that debt off, unless you want to go bankrupt. But bankruptcy here in America means you lose your status to get things like credit cards, houses, cars, etc. So you are actively being punished for being poor. The point of America right now is to literally work until you die. They want us working until we're well in our 80s. And only then are we allowed to live our life. We've been told this is normal. This is not normal. I don't want to wait until I am that old to enjoy life. And I don't think that is an unfair thing to ask. I should be able to have a family, be able to afford to take them to school, be able to afford to have time off with them, and not work more than 40 hours a week and get health care. But instead, I went to college, I got a job, I work my ass off, and I cannot afford any of those things just for myself, let alone to have a family. Compared to many other countries, that is an awful way to live.
Y'all know that we are slaves, right? Like, we're currently all slaves. Slavery never went away. It was just remodified as the working system. Every day you have to get up super early, spend 8 hours a day away from your friends, your loved one, your family, work for pennies on the dollar to make somebody else richer than they already are. And then you get hit with all these bills that you can barely afford because shit is going up. Things are way too expensive. And once you pay off all your ridiculously expensive ass bills, you're broke and have to go to work again the next day. And then once you get paid again to pay your bills, you're going to be broke again. It's literally a rat race. It's like the guinea pig on the hamster wheel. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way because I just got paid and now I'm broke. And don't get me wrong, I have money saved up. I have money in investments. But literally the chump change I got paid from my 2 jobs is all of a sudden gone because it went to bills. And now I have to go back to work again, wait a whole week to get paid to pay bills again. And the same amount of money I'm getting paid, people have 2, 3, sometimes 4 kids. I'm like, there's no way people are surviving, making the same money I am with dependents. I don't have any kids. I don't have a place of my own. I'm still living at the crib. Yet these people have like a whole bunch of bills, mouths that they have to feed, roofs that they have to keep over their head, clothes that they have to buy. How are y'all doing that with the same amount of paycheck y'all get as me? It's literally impossible. Financial freedom is a whole flat out fucking lie. It's bullshit. Unless you were inherited money, grew up in a rich family, hit the lottery, heard a crazy sports betting parlay, you're never going to get rich. You're never going to get ahead because they don't want you to get ahead. They want you to stay slaves and depend on that job and work for the next 40, 50 years of your life. And when you finally can retire with the little bit of money that you were able to save, you can enjoy it. Your bones are going to be too brittle and weak to enjoy it. You won't physically be able to do the things at an older age compared to when you were younger. The United States working system was designed for us to be slaves for 40, 50, if not 60 years and then die. And then what happens when you die? They take half your money because of taxes. And don't get me started on taxes. That's another scam system that they created to keep you broke. It makes no sense how we go to work, bust our ass, and then they illegally take money from our paycheck. And then when it comes time to file taxes every single year, they demand you to pay more money on top of the money that they already illegally took in from you. The American dream is to get the fuck out of America.
Honestly, at this point, I don't even want to get rich to even be rich and live luxurious. I literally want to get rich so I can get the fuck out this country. I cannot stand it here anymore. Everything about this country makes my fucking stomach bubble the fuck up.
especially the fucking economy. I'm sick of it for everybody, but I'm really sick of it for myself too, because like I'm just sick of everything just not being a fucking affordable. I'm sick of this fucking rat race shit. Like, I don't even give a fuck about the American dream. Fuck American dream. I don't want no fucking, like, I would like it, yeah, but honestly, it don't even sound that appealing when you think about it, because it's like, damn, you could buy a big ass house and it's like, it's still not even yours. The fucking whoever the fuck can take it back if you don't pay your property taxes, and you still got to do this and do, like, it's just like, is anything ever fucking really what it is? Like, do we just keep fucking working for shit and it's just, you just never get there? Like, I'm confused. Like, even when you talk to people that's fucking doctors and lawyers and shit, they're fucking stressed out and fucking financially not in a good fucking place either, and it makes no sense to me. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, honestly, all this shit is a fucking lie. And that's the reason I really want to move the fuck out of this country. I want to live abroad because I'm tired of idealizing my life based off American standards. I want to go to another country where they're not worried about who got the flyest shoes, who got the nicest car, who got the biggest house, and I don't give a fuck about none of that. I want to live in a fucking jungle. I want to wake up and eat my fruit and pet my pet monkey every day, and not have to sit here and stress about fucking dumb shit like fucking bills and fucking gas and budgeting out no, it's fucking annoying now. It's literally fucking annoying. Like, I fucking cannot stand it here. I can't wait till I can stitch this video and I'm living abroad in another fucking country. Can't wait.
Y'all justifying 400 years of brutal chattel slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights, having drugs dumped into our neighborhoods by the Reagan administration, and currently being shot down in the street by police in 2025, all from a curse given from a loving God, or being a chosen one will never sit right with me. Some of y'all are seriously unwell. Let me put something in perspective for you. Jim Crow ended in 1965. My mother was born in 1955, which means Jim Crow ended when she was 10. She was a part of those first group of kids that had to integrate with white people. They were getting bullied in school and chased home. Some of them didn't even make it home. You know what it took for me and you to exist with all the things that our ancestors actually survived? There are entire bloodlines that do not exist today because they did not survive Middle Passage. They did not survive 400 years of brutal chattel slavery. They didn't survive Jim Crow or the civil rights movement. They couldn't even get a drink of water at a colors-only water fountain in peace without being harassed by them. Well, shit, if this what it means to be chosen, then count me out. You mean to tell me a all-knowing, all-seeing, omnipresent, loving God gives a fuck whether or not Black people could have ice cream? Because that was a reality for them. They weren't allowed to have ice cream for the color of their skin. There's nothing in this world that could ever justify that. And it's not lost on me that some African leaders actually had their hand in slavery. Unlike majority of y'all, I actually took African American studies and world religions when I was in college. The part that y'all keep skipping over or just flat out don't know in totality is they were actually lied to. And by the time they figured out what was really popping off over here, it was too late to get them back. And only Haiti came over here to try to save them. Let's clock that T. Y'all like the dog out hate. Civilization existed 12,000 plus years before Christianity. Christianity is only like 2,000 or something years old. Jesus, or Yeshua ben Joseph, because that actually would have been his name, died for our sins. His blood sealed the old covenant, which was the mark of the new covenant, the entire purpose of the whole New Testament. And yet chattel slavery happened thousands of years after that. Thousands of years after that. And y'all are still using this asinine rhetoric to justify us being in the position that we are in. No, the reason why we're in the position that we're in is because you don't want to release yourself from mental slavery.
So thank you everyone who has watched this video to the end, and let's make our conclusions. I like how crony capitalism has made our country a great nation. I like it because, for example, a company spends $5 making a product. Then in the market, they sell it for $200, making record profits. And I believe the workers benefit because workers get a pay rise. And when I'm paying $200 for the product, I'm really happy because my fellow American will be earning more who is working to make that product. But really, is that the reality? No, because these workers still get peanuts despite companies making record profits. Who gets money? Shareholders. the CEOs from BlackRock, Vanguard, those are the guys who rip off from these companies, and these companies rip off their workers. United States is a good example and a case study of how unchecked capitalism can lead even the greatest economies down the drain. You give fools massive powers over our financial decisions, that becomes a disaster. Now, tell me, I'm buying a house permanently, I'm buying a car permanently, but if I don't pay my insurance, my car is gone. If I don't pay my property taxes, my house is gone. So in reality, I'm just owning the house on paper. The house is not mine. The car isn't mine. So ownership in United States is all about a renewal of membership. So ownership in United States is a trap. The government doesn't want you to have independence over anything, so that you can continue working. True, ownership is a trap. So we live like in a feudal system where our corporations are the lords, and brothers, sisters, aunts, mothers, fathers, and all my grandpas and grandmas watching this video is why I usually say Ronald Reagan was the worst president. Not even Richard Nixon. Ronald Reagan was one of the worst presidents in our history. Eisenhower taxed the rich to build our country, and the rich didn't like it. Ronald Reagan defunded education, introduced college tuition, introduced tax to our social security. True, he began taxing tips while cutting essential services from us. And friends, that's what led to decline of the American dream as we see it today. So guys, thank you for watching this video, and until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.